This is Healthy Living. With me here in the studio is Dr. Jolly Iguba. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you join me
Good
this
afternoon.
afternoon. All
Good afternoon,
right.
viewers.
Alzheimer. People have been talking about, people gave it various colorations. Some are saying it's a devil's disease. Some are saying that maybe someone is just like, jazzed. You get to see someone today talking, chatting with you, all of a sudden, the next moment, he or she forgets about who you are. Some regarding to you sometimes as a stranger. Some are saying it's like, witchcraft attack, so many coloration. What is Alzheimer disease, doctor?
Yes, Alzheimer is a form of or a type of a dementia, and the dementia is a progressive impairment in cognitive function without alteration of consciousness. So anything that is capable of altering one memory, judgment, orientation, we call it a dementia. The other type of dementia, but the commonest type is the Alzheimer, which we are discussing today. We have a lot of people who developed hypertension resulting to stroke or a cerebrovascular accident. They start manifesting forgetfulness or this cognitive impairment, as the case may be. We have also had some persons who suffer infection, like the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, HIV. Even some persons also develop what we call the peak disease, another form of a degenerative disease. Some persons have also been affected by the WC disease. That is your name.
Yeah, that's my name.
Exactly. Which is
What?
accumulation of copper in the brain.
Yes.
Maybe exposure to copper, as the case may be. So anything that is capable of affecting the neurons. Alzheimer is a disease of the brain. And I tell you that the brain is made up of more than 100 billions of neurons. And when those neurons are degenerated by any cause, either aging, as we have in the case of Alzheimer, or injury, as we have in the case of traumatic brain injury, or bleeding, or ischemia, as in the case of cerebrovascular accident, as I explained earlier, is capable of affecting the memory. The human brain is so concise, so important to us. It's more of a computer house of the human body because of the fact that it regulates memory. Memory can actually be looked at three types. We'll say that there is what we call recent memory.
The recent memory.
Recent memory. There's what we call the remote memory and procedural memory. So if at any point in time, the working memory is affected, which include the recent and the semantic, as the case may be, or the remote memory, we will say that there is a problem with the cognitive function, as in the case of the Alzheimer. So the Alzheimer is actually the commonest type of dementia that I said earlier on, but I'm just trying to highlight other causes of dementia.
Okay.
However, dementia is a common disease worldwide. 55 to 60 millions of persons suffer this dementia. 65 to 60 million people worldwide.
65 to 60 million?
Yes, 60 to 65 million, taking the lower to the upper value. 60 to 65 million people suffer this, dementia. Of this 60 to 65 million, more than 70% are as a result of Alzheimer.
All right.
So you can see that the Alzheimer is the commonest cause of a dementia.
Dementia. So it's related to dementia, forgetfulness about that. But is it related to aging or age, or anyone can be struck by this disease?
If we look at the causes of the Alzheimer, the word Alzheimer was actually coined by Alois Alzheimer in the 1907. Already we knew that there is a disease called impairment in cognitive function. something that will be relating to impairment in memory, in judgment, in orientation, even in language. But however, the causes was unknown until 1907 when Alois Alzheimer, who actually discovered and he now also coined the disease to his name. He now found out that morbidly from a dead person, somebody who actually had a problem with forgetfulness, somebody that was morbidly in a good condition, but as a result of aging, the person starts showing disinhibition, starts showing social isolation, starts, showing loss of, environment. The person was unable to recognize the environment, something that the person was familiar about, the names of people around, name of items around, the person was unable to identify them. So morbidly after death, when this brain of this person was opened up, they found out that there was a reduction in the sulci, and there was an increase in the brain ventricle, the cerebral ventricle. Not only that, other things were still found in this brain of the person who suffered that disease condition. So if we are to look at the risk factor for this Alzheimer, age is a factor.
So age is a factor.
Age is a factor. The commonest age of persons who suffer Alzheimer is 65 to 70 years. There's something common about this 65 and 70, 60, 70%, when we are talking about this dementia.
Yeah.
Specifically the Alzheimer as the commonest cause of the dementia. 65 to 75 years of age are usually found to suffer Alzheimer as a cause of dementia. And it's more common in women than men. This as a result of the fact that globally, women tend to live longer than men. Not only that, hormonal factor also contributes why women also suffer Alzheimer as a kind of a dementia, as a terminal dementia.
Females
than male. Is the prevalence in female is 0.8%, while the prevalence in male is 0.6%. So the aging and the hormonal factor is responsible why women suffer Alzheimer compared to the male.
All right, now, what if the person is below this age you just mentioned? I mean, do you think there are other factors that can give rise to this Alzheimer's disease?
Yes, we have been able to trace genetic family history to this Alzheimer. We have had father suffer this disease condition of forgetfulness. Your friends, your relative, things in your house, you are able to identify them. You will know this is my bedroom, this is my parlor, this is the kitchen, this is the, the toilet, as the case may be. But I will tell you that somebody who suffers Alzheimer can assume that the bedroom is not the toilet. So they can put right there because they have lost this, they are disoriented in place because of the fact that the part of the brain, the hippocampus, which actually, keep memory of environment, is already impaired. Because in Alzheimer, the cerebral hemisphere, which is the largest part of the brain,
Yes.
where the memory is located, either the mammillary bodies, the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex, which enables one to recall either a recent, remote, or procedural memory. In this case, is a kind of atrophied. The genetic I'm trying to say is that in trying to know the causes of Alzheimer, we found out that chromosomal abnormalities, as in the case of trisomy 21, there is this disease condition called Down syndrome. People that have 3 chromosome 21 as against 2, Down syndrome is
Yes.
a developmental abnormality in some persons that you see. There are features that you see. They know that, oh, this person suffered Down syndrome. Somebody that has a Down syndrome, they can begin to manifest this Alzheimer disease or symptoms even before that age of 65 to 75 brackets. At 20, they are already manifesting the symptoms of this Alzheimer. Not only that, other cause of brain atrophy, maybe that's in the case of traumatic brain injury, exposure to some certain irritants or chemicals in the environment, usually aluminum or lead pollution or poison that we inhale, as a result of industrial pollution, as the case may cause some persons to start manifesting the symptoms earlier as against aging that occur between the age of 65 to 75. So all this put into place, you can see that the age that people manifest the symptom more is 65 to 75 age bracket. That is not to say that some persons cannot also manifest the symptom earlier than this.
Okay, now like what you said it's predominant in female when compared to male, because female tend to live longer than male from your analysis, and it could be occasioned by injury or genetics and so many other factors. Now, can it be treated?
Alzheimer can be considered to be static or progressive.
What can be that static or progressive?
Static, it means that once there's an impairment of memory, it means that the memory is already stagnant. The person cannot learn any new thing anymore. You ask this person, this is a book. This is a book. Ab initio, this person knew what a book is. But after 5 minutes, ask the person, what is this? The person can no longer learn new thing. That's static memory. But there's a condition whereby the person might be able to remember some certain thing, maybe selective. This is a biro, but unable to recognize or recall a phone number. But this same person is to be interviewed in weeks or in a month's time. The person that was unable to recall his or her phone number will not be able to recall anymore. So it's a progressive. That means it's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. That's what I mean by static and progressive.
So can it be?
We can also have what we call the reversible and irreversible. But I will tell you that most dementia that is of Alzheimer origin is irreversible.
Irreversible.
What we do in terms of treatment, because we found out that from the neuropathology, we found out that the brain as an organ is compromised. The brain is already atrophied. The part of the brain that regulates memory is shrinking. Previously learned knowledge, previously learned, things can no longer be remembered by the person because of the fact that this insult, that which is responsible for this Alzheimer, either as a result of aging, either as a result of traumatic brain injury, either as a result of genetics, as the case may be, that makes somebody to inherit from the parents or parents passing to their offspring, as in the case of Down syndrome, or we have had monozygotic twins coming down with Alzheimer. Twins coming down with Alzheimer, meaning that there's a genetic linkage. So whichever the cause, we found out that there is low synthesis of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that enables us to
remember.
To remember, yes. So in Alzheimer, the synthesis of acetylcholine by acetylcholinesterase is reduced in production, meaning that the person might not be able to learn new things. So what we do is that even if we are going to intervene, the medication is to slow down the progression, yes. But to reverse it back is very difficult.
You say just to manage it because it must progress.
Yes.
In so many cases.
Yes. Then we also do what we call the lifestyle modification. Somebody that has a risk factor for the Alzheimer and the person goes drinking. Alcohol is also a cause of dementia. There's what we call amnestic syndrome.
Amnestic syndrome.
Amnestic syndrome. We call it Korsakoff syndrome. You know, as a result of thiamine deficiency that the alcohol may cause. After consuming alcohol for a long time, you can begin to have dementia that can result to forgetfulness, loss of memory, impairment of judgment, impairment of, perception.
All right.
So if somebody that has a risk factor for Alzheimer goes drinking alcohol, it tends to, aggravate. So lifestyle modification is also important. So stopping alcohol, doing exercise, and lifestyle, living, imbibe on healthy living, like we are, this healthy living. So by so we can be able to reduce and slow down the progression of the Alzheimer.
But ultimately, it's like the de facto right now, death. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's quite harsh. But well, we don't have so much time. Maybe, just maybe, we'll create another time to really expatiate on this. What advice do you have briefly to those whose relative is suffering from this particular disease?
This program is actually for education,
yes,
and enlightenment, letting people to know that there's a condition that is attributed to old age that may cause the person to act bizarre. That might be the reason why we ascribe witchcraft to that old man or to that old woman, that this person is a witch. They can even start ordering things. They can even want to even go out at night because of the fact that there is a disorientation, they are disoriented in time. At night, they feel that, this is the day, this day. They want to wander out. Some of them even wander the street. They refuse coming back home. So when you have somebody of such, there's a need for you to take the person to an hospital and know that, no, it's not witchcraft, but it's just a brain,
issue or problem. Yes. Anyway, thank you so much, John. Another time, we're going to dive more into this. That's your father, your mother, your grandma, or grand aunt. She's not a witch. May just be Alzheimer kind of disease. Anyway, we're going to take our time to really treat this particular topic. Doc, once more, appreciate your comment. Despite your tight schedule, despite the traffic gridlock, appreciate your comment. See you next week, Monday, on this same platform. Bye for now.